Snow was the enemy too. Snow didn't take sides. It didn't care if you were loyal or dishonored, noble or lowborn. When winter came, it crept into every crack of a samurai's life, turning roads to traps, armor to ice, and every breath into a whisper of survival. You know the katana, you know the code, but have you ever considered what it meant to simply endure? This is the story of how samurai didn't just fight men, they fought the elements, and winter was often the cruelest of them all. Armored for ice. How samurai dressed to survive. We picture the samurai as always armored, but in winter, even their armor had to adapt. Beneath the plates of iron and lacquered leather, they layered thick cotton or padded hemp, insulation against the frozen air. In peacetime, they wore multiple layers of kimono, wrapping their torsos with sashes and covering their legs with tatsuke bakama, tight trousers that helped hold warmth. In the northern provinces, like the snowy lands of the Uesugi or Date clans, samurai on campaign wore mino, straw cloaks shaped like shaggy raincoats, and waraji sandals, wrapped in cloth to stop frostbite. Some even modified their armor, lining it with fur or wool, not for luxury, but to avoid death by exposure. They weren't outfitted for glory, they were outfitted for survival. Cold castles, surviving inside stone walls. Japanese castles were designed for defense, not comfort. They were drafty, elevated, and built mostly from stone, timber, and tile. No insulation, no glass windows. But samurai weren't helpless. They used hibachi, portable charcoal braziers, to heat the rooms they lived in. Irori, sunken hearths, glowed at the center of common areas, both for warmth and cooking. They layered floors with tatami mats, hung fusuma sliding doors to block off cold corridors, and slept with thick futon blankets, sometimes placing utanpo, metal flasks filled with hot water, beneath their bedding. Winter in a castle wasn't cozy, it was calculated. Heat was rationed, movement was minimized, and even the lord of the domain wrapped himself in layers to endure the frost seeping through the shoji walls. The winter diet, food that fought the cold. When warmth faded, food had to do more than fill the belly. It had to heat the body from the inside out. Samurai families turned to fermented foods, starches, and warm broths. Miso soup, pickled daikon, grilled fatty fish, and steamed rice were staples, easy to digest and packed with slow-burning energy. They pounded mochi, dense rice cakes, for calories and warmth, and drank amazake, a fermented rice drink believed to improve circulation. In garrison towns or remote outposts, winter rations were Spartan: dried rice, seaweed, miso paste, preserved root vegetables, and whatever fish they could smoke or salt ahead of time. These meals weren't feasts, they were fuel, measured, preserved, and boiled, again and again, until the body stopped shivering. Training in snow. Toughness was a ritual. For the samurai, winter wasn't a time to rest. Some schools, like the Yagyu Shinkageru, trained outdoors in snow, barefoot, blades drawn, breath visible in the cold air. It wasn't just physical conditioning. It was a statement that discomfort could be tamed, that control over the body was control over the mind. Monks and yamabushi, mountain ascetics, ran barefoot through snow as spiritual trial. Some warriors meditated under falling snow, backs straight, hands still, bodies frozen but minds focused. Even off the battlefield, samurai prepared for suffering, because they believed endurance forged character sharper than steel. When war didn't wait, winter battles and frozen campaigns. Not all enemies waited for spring. In 1337, the siege of Kanagasaki trapped samurai defenders in a snowy fortress for months, where arrows froze mid-flight and rice supplies spoiled. In 1600, the siege of Hasedo was fought as the snows arrived, with Date Masamune's forces using snowshoes and portable braziers to keep their men alive. Troops moved under cover of blizzards. Night raids were timed with heavy snowfalls. Rivers, once barriers, turned into frozen roads. But the risk was enormous. Feet went black from frostbite. Horses collapsed from exhaustion. And warriors died, not from wounds, but from exposure. Winter wasn't a battlefield backdrop. It was the battlefield itself. The philosophy of enduring cold. To the samurai, suffering had meaning. Winter wasn't an obstacle, it was a mirror. Cold stripped away comfort, and in that discomfort, warriors found clarity. They practiced zazen, seated meditation, even when their legs froze beneath them. They learned to ignore pain, to breathe through numbness, to stay still in the storm. As one samurai wrote, "The frost teaches silence, the snow teaches stillness. The body shivers, but the spirit must not." Zen didn't just teach how to think, it taught how to endure.
Could you have endured it?
Winter doesn't show up in the legends, but every samurai who lived long enough to fight again survived it. They layered their bodies, they steeled their minds, they boiled, burned, and buried themselves in blankets, or battled across snow-covered valleys without complaint. Because honor wasn't just in the duel, it was in the discipline, the daily choices made when no one was watching, in the cold, dark months that tested not just strength, but soul. Thanks for watching Japan Rewind. We release new episodes every week. Subscribe if this left you thinking. And in the comments, tell us, would you have survived the deadliest winters of samurai Japan?